So we've been following up on this story as much as we possibly can. What is going on with the Save the Internet bill? It passed the subcommittee. So what happens next? Here's an article to kind of summarize what's happening next with the Save the Internet bill, which of course we will be covering very often. Does the Dem-backed Save the Internet Act stand a chance? All right, so the attempt to restore Obama-era internet protections, known as net neutrality, passed the House Subcommittee on Communications and Technology, but partisan divisions will almost certainly catch up. All right. So here's what happened. The Democrats Save the Internet Act, which would restore former net neutrality rules, passed the House Subcommittee on Communications and Technology. This is from a little bit ago. But we remember when it passed. We covered this on the show. So this means the bill will now head to a full Energy and Commerce Committee markup and vote before heading to the House floor. So it's going to head to the full Energy and Commerce Committee first. Then it's going to head to the House. The bill restores the FCC's 2015 Open Internet Order, which uses Title II of the 1934 Communications Act. So basically, this bill brings us back to the Obama-era net neutrality protections, which is that something that was unique to Obama? No. Those were the net neutrality protections we've always had assumed since the advent of net neutrality. We got it solidified on the books in 2015. The cable companies went after it, and with the Ajit Pai FCC, they were able to roll those back. So what the bill does, the bill is only 3 pages long, and the bill just says, hey, we're going back to that net neutrality we got on the books in 2015. We got it right then. We're not going to fuck it up. We're going back. I'm pretty sure we're not going to fuck it up. It's not in the official text of the bill. In fact, I'm positive on that one because I did read it, but it could be. I don't see why not. So that's what the bill does. Now, oh, and by the way, a clean bill did pass because there were just a few attempts to throw in a few shitty amendments in there. They got shot down. So a clean bill passed. Republicans are against this. They're against Title II. Why are they against Title II? Because Title II is what actually protects net neutrality. Without Title II, net neutrality is not safe. So that's why Republicans are against Title II. We've talked about this many times on the show, but in case you're newer to this issue, all you really need to know, if we got Title II, we got net neutrality. We don't got Title II, we don't got net neutrality. Because Title II is a designation by the FCC that makes the internet a common carrier. It has to flow like running water. It's a telecommunications service. It's something essential to our lives. Title I is where they categorize television, cable television, and radio. You see what happened to those mediums. You see how that got homogenized and corporatized. So if it's Title I, internet service providers are going to make our internet look like cable television 2.0. Hey, independent media is going to load slower. Corporate media is going to load faster. There's fast lanes and slow lanes. There's priority. There's extra bundles you can get. You want to access Twitter? That's an extra $30 a month. We can do this now. That's what happens without Title II. All right, so this article speculates what will happen. So Republicans are vehemently against Title II. Some Democrats are too, unfortunately. So it brings up how Republicans tried to add some amendments, and it all got shot down. So here's what they think is going to happen after it goes through this other committee, which it will probably get through the other committee. The current House bill may pass the House, but I don't think it has a chance in the Senate. Democrats know this is good messaging for them. Nobody likes their ISP, so they can say, we'll protect you. Okay. So that's basically where it's at. It goes to a full House committee. Danny Tanner's going to be there. Joey's going to be there. And when they try to propose a shitty amendment for net neutrality, Joey's going to be like, no, we want net neutrality. Cut it out. And that's what's going to happen in the full House committee. So we got the full House committee. And then we have the House, which has less integrity than the full House committee, with the exception to what Aunt Becky did recently. Aunt Becky, make your kids get into college on their own merit, Aunt Becky, all right? Not cool, but you know. So it goes to the cast of Full House, then it goes to the House, and it will likely, it has a chance to get through the House. It will likely be shot down by the Senate, because the Senate is Republican controlled. but that forces a very bad look on Trump and the Republicans. And in the meantime, this helps preserve net neutrality. Another thing people don't realize, because this is being battled out in Congress, because this is being battled out in the courts, we have not seen the effects of losing net neutrality. People are like, well, we don't have net neutrality and the internet's fine. Derp, 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 derp. Yeah, that's because of people fighting at the local level and the state level and the federal level. You haven't seen the effects of losing net neutrality yet, because here in California, for instance, they're battling it out in the courts right now. That's why when Ajit Pai said, hey, the loss of net neutrality will bring about jobs, he was only right in one, for instance. It brought about a lot of work for attorneys, because they're battling this shit out in states all across the country. So we haven't seen the effects of net neutrality yet, because the ISPs, their hands have been tied. They can't do anything. They can't unroll legislation that they'll just have to roll back. They would lose money if they did that, so they're not going to do it. Furthermore, if New York and California get strong net neutrality protections, that's about 43% of the customer base throughout the country. So you're not going to unroll some kind of package that doesn't follow net neutrality that you're going to impose on consumers if you can't impose it on about half the country, or nearly half the country. It's not quite half the country, but you see what I'm saying. So by fighting for net neutrality protections, you're stopping the ISPs, the internet service providers, the AT&Ts, the Comcast, from doing anything to violate net neutrality. So we're holding the front line. We'll see what happens here, but we will be covering the full committee. We'll be covering the House, because you know that's an issue near and dear to my heart. And what is the permanent fix for net neutrality? Municipal broadband all across the country. I'm fighting for it here in Pasadena. Other people are fighting for it across the country. And that's what needs to happen. We need to take the internet out of the corporations' hands and into the hands of our cities. And we need to have city-run and owned internet, or internet co-op run by citizens. Both are happening. Both are spreading nationwide, and that needs to continue. And that's something you can do right in your backyard. Please visit my playlist on net neutrality and muni broadband. It's a playlist on my channel if you want to learn more about that issue.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and